What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Atriox, and we're back with another Marvel Rivals video. So I didn't post any videos last week outside of like the shorts and stuff, but I was kind of sick and it was hard for me to to talk without coughing too much. I still got a little bit of a cough, but you know, we're getting back into the swing of things now. So I actually saw a short of this from Flats where he was like reacting to a certain part, which was the EOMM. So I'm actually interested to see what exactly they're gonna do here, because like if it's not EOMM, like I don't know what it could be, bro, because like some of these games, bro, oh my god, it's like you just get everybody wants to play DPS and like nobody plays tank, nobody plays healer, like everybody just wants to play DPS, and then they'll go and they'll try and instant lock these roles and they'll be absolute bog water with them. Like it gets so frustrating, and like some of the teammates just have been awful. Like yesterday I had a teammate where he banned Phoenix because he saw my playtime with her. I'm like, bro, what the hell? I was like, he's like, oh no, it's like your playtime was bad. I was like, okay, well, I was like, that's kind of weird. I understand Blade because he's new, but I'm like, bro, I was like, all right, whatever, you know. I took it on chin and whatever, and the whole game he just complained about everybody on the team the entire game. And it's just like, oh, so you just don't know how to play as a teammate. You just want to be a single player. And the thing is, like, he was using Moon Knight and he was talking about, oh, I'm MVP. I'm like, bro, you are literally just think with the Moon Knight. I'm like, bro, you're not even doing anything. You're sitting far away from people and just holding down the right trigger. I was like, all right, bro, like it was a horrible experience. So I don't know, like I'm actually really interested in hearing what he has to say, so I'm not going to talk too much longer. We're going to just get into the video. Also, let me know some of you, though, your worst experiences with teammates in this game, because I have had a few bad ones that are just like, these people, their egos need to get checked.
Can you bring us back to the very beginning of Marvel Rivals?
There you
go. How NetEase ended up making Marvel Rivals and what your first conversations with the Marvel team were like.
这确实是比较早之前的一个事情。那我们其实最早的时候，最早的对话应该是我们去讨论如何去做 Marvel Rivals 这个游戏，就是我们在有漫威 IP 授权的情况下，我们要做一款什么样的游戏。那很高兴，我们其实当时提议有很多嘛。那我们其实，在我们的一些想法中。提出的想法中去碰撞，那最后的话，我们
I actually have a question before we get too deep into this. Like, why has Marvel given the IPs to like a game studio outside of the US? And like, this is not even just the only game. Like Marvel, that phone game too. There's a lot of like Marvel games that are going to like, you know, outside of the US. Like, is it because they just don't trust the US developers to make a good game? That was what the kind of idea behind this, like, because like, I mean, you gotta admit, like, in terms of like gaming and stuff, I feel like a lot of the games that people play nowadays aren't even like Western games. Like, you know, they're Eastern games. They're games from like outside the US. I kind of want to do a dive into that, because I've seen some partial videos where they kind of just go into that, but like, you know, I just think it's interesting that they gave the IP to a studio that's outside the US when it's like a US made kind of thing. It's kind of interesting though.
看到了 Marvel Rivals 目前的这么一个原型的一个提案的时候，大家都感受非常的兴奋。对，那我们就决定沿着这条路继续做下去。
How did you approach the design process of Marvel Rivals as you were entering a market with a very dominant other game that was a similar game?
Right, Overwatch.
我们其实在做漫威争锋，尤其比如说在做英雄的时候，我们更多的我们会去考虑我们如何把漫威的超级英雄 Marvel Superheroes 的能力去带到游戏中，让我们广大玩家去体验到超级英雄的一个设计的一个快乐。对，所以在我们设计的时候，我们会更多的去从超级英雄本身的一些特性和特质出发，然后我们会去设计英雄的一个技能组合。那我们之后呢，会在我们的
Imagine bringing your side project to life just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
我们会去进行一个白盒，就一个 prototype 的一个验证。那在往后，我们才会去进行一个 美术资源和的一个生产，那最后我们会把它整体整合起来，再进行一个非常细致的打磨，才到大家看到的这么一个上线的一个情况。
Why has the team switched to a more frequent hero release schedule?
Right.
And is that monthly pace hard to keep up with?
No.
我们去选择这么一个节奏呢
I say it's not hard to keep up with, and that's simply because they're not creating new heroes. They're creating existing heroes into the game, which makes it a little bit easier because you have their ability set, you have the backstory set, you have everything you need to make these heroes come out like this, which I think is what gives them a leg up on a game like Overwatch, where Overwatch literally has to start from scratch for each character, whereas Marvel Rivals, the characters are already made. Just get them into the Marvel Rivals style, find out what works best for a kit, and figure out what kind of role they're going to play, and boom. That's why I feel like it's a lot easier. You can build like a lot of characters being set for the future ahead of time because you already have everything established. And like I feel like it shouldn't take as long to create the characters into the Marvel Rivals kind of stage. I think a month, even when a month is still it's kind of a short period, but I'm sure they're working on all the heroes we're getting now are probably been worked on for months before they even put this out. So they probably have a set list they already work on. They're probably working on 3 heroes right now, and they're finalizing it for each month. That's what I think, kind of like where they're at.
多我们是看到了玩家对我们超级英雄的一个喜爱，大家喜欢我们的英雄，那也当我们新的英雄推出的时候，玩家其实非常非常兴奋，然后他们去体验我们的一个英雄的时候，也会感受到非常的一个快乐。那所以我们在今年的大概3月份，就是大概在 S1 末期的时候，我们其实在内部讨论去做了这么一个决定，我们希望把更多的漫威超级英雄去带给大家，所以我们选择了这么一个月释放一个英雄的一个节奏。那确实基于每个月去释放一个英雄的话，它确实是有一定困难的，就对我们团队的一个压力也是不小的。但是有压力才有动力，因为玩家的喜欢嘛，那我们会努力的去达成这个愿景。而且当然我们确实也是整体盘点过我们的可能性以后才做出这么一个决定，所以目前来看的话，它还是在我们的一个预期内的。
Can you walk us through briefly what the development cycle and timeline looks like for creating a hero start to finish? Like how you decide abilities and all of that.
这个我可以简单介绍一下，就是首先我们会先决定 Hero Roster， 就是我们会根据我们的赛季，那我们会有一个关于我们赛季故事的一个讨论，就这个赛季我们将聚焦于哪个地点，然后哪些英雄之间的一个故事。那在这么样一个故事下，我们什么样的英雄适合出现在这么一个故事中？那我们会和漫威的团队进行一个非常充分的一个讨论。那之后呢，我们才会去决定我们的一个英雄的 roster，hero roster。那决定好 roster 以后呢，那我们就会进行英雄的一个设计。那我们内部的策划团队就会对英雄就先去。包括了解英雄，包括去了解这英雄的各种各样的一个设定，然后再基于这个去设计一个非常好玩的一个技能组合。那之后的话，我们才会去对这个技能组合进行一个 prototype 的一个验证。那验证完以后，当这个玩法整体是可行的，而且是有趣的，我们才会去进行一个美术资产的一个制作。那制作好了以后，我们这会持续一个周期啊，大概的美术资产制作的持续时间会比较长。那等美术资产制作完成以后，我们会把整体的技能在这个资产上去整体的进行一个打磨，对，然后最后才去面向玩家。那面向玩家之前呢，我们还会进行非常大量的一个内部的一个平衡性的一个跑测，包括我们内部策划团队的一个跑测，也包括我们公司内部的一些那种。顶尖的一些那个设计游戏玩家的一个跑测，那会去确定这英雄平衡性是否是 OK 的。对，那整体都跑得比较 OK 以后，就这英雄比较有趣，而且它平衡性是 OK 以后，我们才会去推向广大的一个玩家。
What goes into the process of choosing what heroes are coming next and how the seasons progress?
Pre-existing.
这其实刚刚也有提到，就是我们。对英雄的这么一个选择，更多的是基于我们未来这个赛季，那我们希望它给玩家带来一个什么样的一个赛季故事？那基于这赛季故事，然后它的一个地点选择，以及适合出现在这个 故事中的一个英雄和的新英雄，然后以及我们会基于我们英雄的一个就是职责的一个考虑，然后包括一些和漫威商量过的，包括一些知名英雄和一些不知名英雄的一些考虑，对，然后会整体的去决定这么一个英雄的一个 roster。
Will we ever see more typical villains
Right.
added
This is what
as
I want to
playable
know.
characters
This is
in the
what I want to
game?
know.
敬请期待，未来肯定会有的。
Right now, there's
There's not enough villains in this game. Like, I think the only ones I can think off the top of my head was Ultron. All the other characters are kind of anti-heroes, and depending on what story you're looking at, maybe they're villains. But most of the roster is like either heroes or anti-heroes. There's like barely any villains in it. So I would actually really like for them to put Doom, Null, Dracula. Like, it would be cool to see these characters come to the fold and be a part of the game.
more duelists in the game than vanguards and strategists. Are there
okay.
any plans? There's
Okay, this is what I
playable
saw.
characters in the game.
敬请期待，未来肯定会有的。
Right now, there's many more duelists in the game than vanguards and strategists. Are there any plans for those to?
It's insane how much duelists and are like compared to like strategists and vanguard. Like, even if you add duelist the vanguard and strategists, it does not equal the duelists. Like, there's an insane amount of duelists. Vanguard needs some love, bro, because they're just the only new. What's the new tank we got? I think it was Emma Frost. That's it. Yeah, I think that's Emma Frost was. And the thing, those two tanks. Like, the thing, I feel like the Vanguard needs a season where you get 2 Vanguards in one season. I think that would be cool to see. Strategists could use, like, maybe do back to back like that, because I think we're good on duelists for a little bit, because we definitely need some more love for Vanguard. A lot of times people don't play Vanguard because they don't enjoy the experience of certain tanks. Making other tanks have like a good experience, like just playing it, just a fun experience with the tanks. Like, for me, Thing and Emma are fun as hell to play, but most of the time people don't want to play. Like, it depends. Like, these lobbies I get into, sometimes they're weird. Some people, they'll rush the healer and duelist, or they'll be tanks and healers. It's so weird, bro.
Even out?
这个我们其实，在社区中有看到很多这个反馈。
Right.
那在未来的话，我们会进行，我们也知道了这个问题，但是因为我们的整个英雄的从确定 roster 到它的整体的一个制作和到它最后上线周期，其实是相对比较长的。那我们比如说，我们目前这个时间节点，我们正在确定的是明年的这个时间节点的一个英雄。
Right.
那在这种情况下呢，我们关注到这个问题，我们也在去逐步的解决这个问题，但它也不会在比较快的一个见效，它会逐渐的去形成一个新的一个平衡。
Seasons.
Okay, so basically what he's saying here is that what they're writing and like planning right now is going to take place next year. So when we are in August, right? So maybe the end of the year, or maybe the beginning of next year. Like, now the characters they're planning, because obviously you have to get clarification from Marvel to make sure it's okay for them to release these characters, because obviously they want engaging characters that are going to make people want to play the game, to play these characters. They don't want to just put characters out there, like some characters that people don't want to play, like some really obscure character. I don't know, pick one, and people don't want to play. They're going to want to pick characters like, okay, this character could be cool, we just got to change it up this and that way. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at like Emma Frost in the comics versus Emma Frost in the game, way different. Same thing with Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl looks drastically different from a lot of the iterations we've seen from other games. So, like, I definitely understand, like, kind of molding and just creating these characters and like not being able to just change the meta overnight. And that's basically, they understand that that people are complaining there's not enough Vanguard and strategists, but you also don't want to wait too long, because like with these type of games, like the fan base wants stuff to be kind of like reactionary type thing. So if you don't have it like to a point where it's coming out at a certain point, like people will stop playing, or people will stop playing and come back. You know what I mean?
Revolve around storylines right now and locations, places like Clintar and Null. And maybe even we now have the 8th city being teased. Are there any locations the team has been excited to learn about and possibly explore?
有非常多，因为漫威的整个宇宙非常非常宏大，
Right.
那它也有很多这种 location， 我们其实非常的想带领大家去体验。那在未来的话，我们也会引入这些地点在漫威争锋中。
Gameplay wise, people.
So I said to him,
Okay, here
no,
we go.
Nigel, not without the brie.
Okay, so this is a major point here. Because like obviously there's a huge part of the community that believe EOMM exists in this game. I actually saw this part in one of the flat ones. Well, one flat was reacting on TikTok. So I don't know what it is, bro. Like, cause like you'll have one day you'll have like a great session gaming on rank, and the next day it's just like you're losing 10 games in a row, and it's just like, dude, like what the hell do I do here? Like, I don't know what it is, bro, but like I'm really interested in hearing the full segment of this, seeing like, you know, how they go about explaining this, because it looks pretty it's not super long. I wish they would have spent more time.
Often talk about EOMM, engagement matchmaking. In Marvel Rivals, is that system in use? And if so, why? What was the choice of that over skill-based matchmaking, SBMM?
Matchmaking is a complex system, and we are
Speaking English for this part.
preparing a video to talk about all the matchmaking things. So stay tuned. Maybe in two weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you balance the game between?
See, I initially thought he said a week, so I'm actually really interested in how they're gonna go about, because like, if this is like I feel like Marvel Rivals is kind of like backing themselves in a corner with a video. I wish they kind of would just ignored the whole EOMM thing, because like, you know, this type of thing kind of can either make or break the game. Because like if you look back to Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty for a long time denied SBMM. So then when it was finally proven, it's like, oh, there's just a little bit of SBMM. It's like, bro, you can't trust you now because you lied about it saying it wasn't. See, they are gonna go into an in-depth kind of like video of how they're gonna explain the matchmaking system. I'm gonna be looking out for that one. That one we're for sure making a video on, because I'm very interested in seeing how they're gonna go about explaining this, and if they're gonna do any fine tuning to rank, because sometimes it feels like, you know, you have these team that doesn't really belong in that rank, and then the other team are like they're like the Avengers, like they're super coordinated, they're super everything. Like it just feels like every time I'm on a team, like nobody's coordinated enough, nobody wants to get up team ups, like everybody kind of just does their own thing, and meanwhile you got the other team that are grouped together and are just working together. Although I do a lot of solo queues, so that could be what it is too.
Casual and competitive players.
这我主要介绍一下我们平衡性调整的一个思路。我们其实在做平衡的时候，我们不只去关注就是casual player， 也不只关注 competitive player， 我们会整体的对我们的整个游戏环境，在不同的包括 quick play， 也包括 competitive play， 包括 tournament， 其实我们都会去关注每个英雄的一个出场率、胜率，然后以及奔选的一个奔选率。对，那我们会整体的对这些数据进行综合的考量，包括我们的策划也有很多很厉害的同学嘛，我们也在这整个游戏环境。
Oh, sorry about that. I've recorded a lot of videos and I kind of like memory ran out for a second. All right, let's jump back into it.
在做我们的策划也有很多很厉害的同学嘛，我们也在这整个游戏环境中不停的在体验，那我们会结合这所有信息，然后对我们的一个平衡性进行调整。
In game, we have slight references to pop culture, like Squirrel Girl's beach skin that people pointed out looks like Sabrina Carpenter, or upcoming Human Torch skin that people think looks like Doflamingo from One Piece. How do you guys decide how to intertwine pop culture into the game?
因为我们的制服就我们的 costume 这边的一个设计，我们会来源于很多的主题，包括漫画经典的主题，也包括现实生活中的一个有趣的一些主题，那也包括和那个影视的一些联动。那基于这些呢，我们其实会去创作出大家 喜欢的一些 costume。
There's also a number of
You
social
know what costume I want to see them bring in for Phoenix in particular? I want them to bring a Madeline a prior skin. Like the clone of Jean Grey, dude. I would love for like the S23 S-Men 97 had put her into this. I haven't watched the newer seasons, but I keep seeing clips. I even use some of the pictures and some of the shorts that I make. It would be cool to see a skin like that. I would love for that to happen. Like that would be so fire, bro.
media moments that have now been added to the game, like the new Blade and Jeff spray, or Venom dancing, Spider-Man 3's Maguire dance. When did you guys decide that you wanted to do things like this, and why?
因为我们主要还是看到了 community 这边的一些反馈，包括我们当时在做毒液的那个 tweak 的时候 ，Venom tweak 的时候，我们发现我们的整个社交，我们的社媒其实被引爆了，然后包括我们 community 非常喜欢这些东西，那我们就会发现，其实我们去倾听，并且去对我们社区做出反馈，其实是非常。
This dude, Artemis, is probably one of my favorite too. Like that crow vibe with the sniper is
好的一件事情，也会得到广大玩家的一个认可吧，然后也会得到广大玩家的喜欢，所以我们就是基于我们目前的一个设计和制作的一个产能，那我们也会尽量的去响应整个社区中的一些玩家的一个呼声，把大家喜欢的无论是一些表情动作啊，还是一些一些表情，然后这些去带到游戏中，然后让大家就是更喜欢我们游戏。
A number of skins have also returned to the shop, despite many considering them rare or exclusive, like Galactic Hawkeye or Captain America returning, or even the first season's Battle Pass coming back. Now, only Cyan Venom and the White Scarlet Witch are those exclusive rare skins. What's your take on having rare skins in the game? Why did you bring certain things back?
关于那个 Sun Clash 和 Scarlet Witch 这两个是我们对 CAT 就 Close Alpha Test 和 Close Beta Test 的玩家的一个承诺，是他们参与这个测试的一个独占的一个皮肤。这两个我们是肯定不会去返场的。但是关于我们刚刚也提到了一些限时售卖的一些皮肤，包括我们的通行证皮肤，包括我们的就是第一赛季当时限时的那些皮肤，我们会在合适的时间去做一些返场，但这个返场的时间和频率的周期肯定会有一定的限制，返场的频率也会有一定的限制。
Speaking of cosmetics and skins, we have to ask, because of social media, how do you guys respond to people calling Marvel Rivals a Gooner game?
因为我们的设计就像刚刚也提到，我们会来源于漫画的一些经典，包括我们其实很出彩的一些皮肤，包括
that's such a good way of explaining it, bro. Because if you think back to old Marvel comics, like they showed skin, they showed like those type of like the female characters in like athletic, nicely built, pretty characters. Like it makes sense. This is such a dope answer. I like this response to this because like, you know, a lot of like the teams will be like, oh, well, just making an excuse, but he's low key like kind of like saying it in the right way. It's like, look, if you look back at old comics, like you can see the way they portrayed the women in swimsuits. Like even some of the superhero costumes are very revealing and stuff like that. So I like that answer.
因为我们的设计就像刚刚也提到，我们会来源于漫画的一些经典，包括我们其实很出彩的一些皮肤，包括 Mantis， 对吧？然后也包括灵蝶的复仇使者，那这些都是来源于漫画的经典设计。那我们会在漫画的经典设计上去做一些更时尚的一些设计，对，然后来以此得到大家的喜欢。我觉得这也是广大玩家对我们的认可。那我们也会像刚刚提到那个松鼠女那个克拉克之花的这个皮肤，那它也是我们其实是基于。
I think there are exemptions from this, and I'll explain that. When Emma Frost looks completely different from the comic character. Same thing with Squirrel Girl. They're made a lot thicker in the game. But I think, you know, if you were just to see two skinny characters, I feel like it's not something people would want to play with. So making them like in the more like visually appealing, I would say. A lot of times people play these characters because they like the way they look. So if you have a character, you know, that you like the way they look, you're gonna keep playing them. You know what I mean? So I just wish they would give Emma Frost some classic comic designs, like, you know, who with the long hair, like, you know, X-Men and Wolverine. Like, I would love for that skin to make it into the game. It would be super dope for me.
现实主题的和赛季故事的一个，它是基于赛季故事的一个设计。对，那像这种设计呢，我们也会尽量的去融合我们赛季中的故事，包括克拉克的一些元素，那也会融合现实生活中的一些流行元素，那我们去做新的设计。那我们也非常感谢这些设计能得到广大玩家的一些认可。
And then finally, what does Marvel Rivals look like in 5 and 10 years from now?
我们希望我们的游戏会受到广大喜欢漫威玩家也喜欢英雄设计玩家的一个喜欢，然后也希望得到他们的认可。那我们也希望我们一起能把漫威争锋就 Marvel Rivals 去做到一个非常非常大的一个游戏。
Video has a lot of ads. Okay, so now, so let's just talk about like everything we heard, right? So they're gonna make an EOMM video, debunking that there's no EOMM in the game. Which, you know, if there isn't, then people are gonna have to find something else to complain about. Because, like, honestly, like the rank experience has been horrible. I kind of like, part of me kind of wants a soft, a very very soft role queue, where you pick 2 roles and like that way you can be able to play in the lobby. Because like I just feel like every ranked game, and like this is like yesterday and day before yesterday, it's just people jumping straight to DPS. And a lot of times, like, it's like you'll give up the role of DPS to go play tank or healer, but then the people will go like 3 and 9 or 3 and 11. Like, it's like, my thing is, like, if you're gonna go rank and play a DPS role, I feel like you should at least be good. You should be good with a DPS. Like, you can't go into a rank and take over the DPS role and be basuda way. You know what I mean? So like that kind of part, look, irritates me a little bit. It's like if you're not a good DPS, play tank. Like, just we walk around and melee punch somebody with Thor or a friggin' thing, because like you're really just hurting your team, right? So I don't know if there's a way you could fix the rank system. Maybe a soft queue, role queue, and then maybe even like in other games like Rocket League, for example, they have placement matches where you win like 10 games and you get placed and like yada yada yada. I think that would be cool to see in Marvel Rivals, having placement matches come in, and you know that could also help kind of with how people are being placed in the matches. Because like I feel like right now rank is hell right now for me. Like, I've been trying to grind out a gold 1 for like the last like probably 3 or 4 days. It's just been horrible, bro. It's been like some of the worst experience for rank for me in particular, because everybody just automatically picks Blade, and god, I've gotten to the point where I've had to ban Blade before the game starts if people try and play him. Because like it's like, bro, Blade is it's a sell pick. Like, and don't get me wrong, there are some people that are good with Blade, but that's the exception. They're not the rule. The majority of Blade players are bad right now because they don't understand how his kit works, and they just jump online to play with him, and they just kind of like hamper the team. Like they'll go like they'll go like maybe 8 and like 14 or something like that. Like, oh, I did good. I'm like, you didn't. You went negative. Like, that's not good. But maybe I wonder if there are ways you could fix a rank outside of outside of a placement matches and role queue. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they go about it. Like, I hope they can find a way to balance it a little bit better to make the rank experience a little bit more fun, because like recently it's just been kind of bad for me. Also, like, you know, I like that answer to the Gunnar question. I think, you know, them just talking about how back in the day the skins and everything like that was good, so that was cool to see. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do with this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.